Good afternoon and happy Mental Health Monday. Last week we talked about controlling what you can in a pretty high stress, high anxiety producing situation, just such as your child being in the NICU. So last week we talked about taking over some of the tasks, if able to, in the NICU to feel that sense of control, performing self-care, and just controlling what you can within your environment and your situation. And the reason why I talked about that first is because when you're in that high stress situation, we almost need it to feel secure. We need it to feel predictable. We need to feel safe in that environment, in that situation. But when that situation no longer stays the same, and say when you return home, we need to learn how to let go a little bit and relinquish that control so that you can have your sanity, and so that everybody can have one there's an overarching goal where everybody has the baby's best interest at heart, and that you do not have to control, and actually cannot control, every single little thing that happens. So once you let go of that notion that you have to control everything, and because honestly that's not realistic, then you can just live a little bit, we can breathe a little bit easier. So I'm going to talk about how to relinquish that control, whether it's to somebody else or to the universe, just to say, you know, I can't control everything. This isn't something I need to stress out about, and this is something that the baby is well, everybody is doing okay, and I am doing my best. So how do we relinquish control in a really high stress situation? So the first thing that we want to do is just think about what our goals are. So what are the goals for yourself, for your family, for your child? What is causing a lot of anxiety, and what is not causing so much anxiety, but you still feel the need to control every aspect of? So what is your overarching goal? How do you want to feel? How do you want the family unit to work together? So the first thing is we just want to be smart about it. So what are the achievable goals? What are the goals that you know that you can achieve with a little bit of time and effort? So we don't want to make these big, grandiose goals that are going to be very hard to achieve in either a short amount of time or even a long amount of time. So we need to make sure that the goal is a SMART goal and it's an achievable goal. So when we take our first step, we need to make sure we kind of split the goal up into short-term little small steps. So what are the smallest steps that we can create to help you reach your overarching goal? And we want to make sure that these are manageable steps. So if they're not manageable, these goals are not going to be met. So first of all, are they small and are they manageable? That's what we want to start with. And we want to start with the smallest, least anxiety-provoking steps and goals, and then move toward the bigger ones, the ones that worry you just a little bit more, the one that provoke the most anxiety, the ones that you will need a lot more support with. So we always start off small, and then we work our way to the bigger issues. And then we just start. So you pick a time and you pick a way. So starting Monday, I am going to do X, Y, and Z. How are you going to do X, Y, and Z? What is your plan for that step and for that goal? So you'll have a starting time, and then you'll list out ways that you're going to meet these goals. And then learning to relinquish that control, you're going to have some moments of anxiety. But this is where your coping skills are going to come into play. You're going to really need to breathe and use your coping skills in order for you to meet these goals. So it may be a lot of thought reframing, it may be a lot of journaling, it just may be a lot of deep breaths and breathing, talking to your partner, talking to your support system. Use everything that you can use. Take a walk if your thoughts are getting to be too heavy. If you start to feel yourself just getting clouded by all these intrusive thoughts, then how have you been working with that? And that's what we talk about with our clients in order to, one, have these coping skills, and then two, use them when they're necessary. And then the more that you get used to using your coping skills during anxiety-provoking situations, and the more that you get used to relinquishing that control, whether it's to somebody else or to the universe, keep breathing, keep telling yourself that you're doing this better for the family, keep working toward those small manageable steps. It does get easier over time, and you are able to relax just a little bit more and hopefully have less anxiety-provoking moments. And when you challenge your own thinking and you challenge your own intrusive thoughts and say, no, I really trust that so-and-so has my baby's best care. I really trust that daycare. I really trust these other providers. I really trust myself to be making the right decisions for my family. You trust yourself, you trust your support system. And so when you challenge those thoughts that are negative and intrusive, you start to get used to challenge yourself and say, this is not real life. This is not appropriate. This is not a real scenario that's happening. This is just made up in my head. Now, obviously, if these thoughts are becoming restricting, or if these thoughts are impairing your functioning to mother, that's when you, or to parent, that is when you seek counseling. Oftentimes I do recommend people who've had a NICU experience or a traumatic birth to see a counselor, therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, whoever you feel like would help you. You may need that outside support, especially if it's impacting your ability to parent. So just be mindful of everything, and last but not least, just be kind to yourself. You are dealing with a very intense situation, oftentimes a situation that was not expected. And as I have preached before, when we have disconnect between our expectations and our reality, that can create a lot of issues. So again, as with every Mental Health Monday topic, you need to watch out for what is impacting your ability to parent and your emotions, and where do you need to go from here? Who do you need to talk to? What resources are available to you? And if this is impacting your functioning, then you may need a little bit more help. But I hope this was helpful. And remember, we can't control everything. And when we feel like we are trying too hard to control everything, that's really because we're trying to create a false sense of security, and we're not managing our anxiety properly. So we have to be able to manage our anxiety in order for our environment to feel like we are safe within that environment. So if you have any questions, as always, don't hesitate to reach out. I look forward to hearing from you. Bye, guys.